Yeah.
This HBK, and I appreciate y'all holding the space. This is my first time talking to any of you, I believe. But if you could just give me a quick second. First of all, I see about five people in this space, and if y'all could, I'm gonna ask you just three quick questions. Anybody that's been watching for the last decade, can you raise your hand? I just want to do
Yeah.
something real quick.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
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 Sure,
Yeah. Yeah.
virtually,
Yeah.
sure.
Sure.
Or really, you know what? To be honest with you, since there's only five of us, if everybody could say how long they've been watching, exactly that'll help me make my point real quick.
Um,
So
Since
I'm
Watching
97.
what?
36.
I'm
I'm
sorry.
36, so I've been watching like I can remember my first memories of watching wrestling was like 1994. It was Undertaker against Yokozuna casket match, Royal Rumble.
I was 98 WCW and then 99 WWF.
I was
Okay.
2009 WWE. I think it was the lead up to WrestleMania 25, I think.
It was 2010.
Oh, that was kind of
Basically,
mid.
Shawn Michaels was basically played the second.
When you say
Uh,
mid, what year specifically?
No, you just said 2009. I was like, that year was kind of mid.
Oh yeah.
Well, that's when I
No,
first started at the time. Yeah.
it's a reason why I'm asking
saying
every single person this question. So I want to go to the 36-year-old because I'm 36 years old myself, and I've been watching since 1998. But I fell in love with wrestling so quickly that I went back into history, before YouTube and all that stuff, and kind of found some good footage. And my knowledge could go back to the 80s, 70s, 60s, 40s, 30s. That's
Yeah.
where I'm at with it. So I'm looking at the business overall. And the reason I asked this particular question is because you do get people that have watched in in different eras. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So in this space, and I believe it was six Rikic. What do you prefer to be called?
No, that's the Raikage. It's a Naruto reference.
Rakage.
But you could call me JHM. That's what I go by most.
JHM. I'm
Yeah.
gonna call you J.
Bro, you already know the Raikage would fuck you up, guy. The real
look,
Raikage would fuck you up. And his
it's
son, too, will
Saturday. I done
fuck
had
you
me a
up.
couple. It's Saturday. I done had me a couple, and I'm blowing right now. So I'm gonna just call
Bro,
you
I'm
J.
on three doubles, bro. What you talking about?
You know what time it is then. So my thing is we've been watching for about the same amount of time, and we possibly have the same amount of knowledge, and we've been through multitudes of the changes of the business if you've been watching consistently. So
Yeah.
my question is generally to everybody, what do you consider a good match, or what do you consider a good show? Because when I first started watching, and I'm talking about as a child, and I want everybody to remember, when I say as a child, you have to remember at the end of the day, professional wrestling is technically supposed to be geared towards children. And this is after the 80s. But for some reason, I can't let it go. Maybe you all can't let it go. Everybody been watching over a decade in here. We all can't let it go. So what do we expect? Because when I first started watching, it was the entire show that gravitated me. So if it was Kai that started the show, and if it was Stone Cold Steve Austin that ended the show, it was everything that intrigued me. You
I don't
understand
think
what I'm
Kai
saying?
Tai ever. I don't think Kai Tai ever started the show, but okay.
No, I get what I'm just using that as an example so
We
you
use an
could
example.
see where I'm coming from.
Yeah.
It's different multitudes of the show because I could tell you that my favorite wrestler of all time could be Brad Armstrong, and a lot of people would look at me like I'm crazy. But Brad
Bro, I
Armstrong,
think
if
like
you actually
80% of the
pay
wrestling
attention to
universe
his
in today's
matches,
age wouldn't know
Brad
who
Armstrong
Brad
have no
was.
different abilities than Cody Rhodes, who is the WWE champion right now.
They could be the equivalent, yeah, but I mean, it's just how they position, bro. Like Brad
Yeah.
Armstrong was always that constant worker, and like he was never like viewed above mid upper
If
mid
you
card,
if
bro.
you listen to old school wrestlers that talk about Brad Armstrong, they say if Brad Armstrong had the personality in the ring that he had in the back, he would have been multiple time like world champion type of guy.
That's
But
how I
that was
know you
also, bro.
old
But that
school.
was also that
That's how I know
time,
you
bro. In the
old school. You
'80s,
right
like
about that.
you were not allowed to exude that unless you like were like premier or like you were the Booker's favorite, bro. You were not allowed to exude that. So Brad Armstrong, as
Well,
much
I
as
want to
an
take y'all a
incredible
different
worker he
direction.
was, bro, I don't
I,
think he would have like, especially in that roster back in like the '80s NWA Jim Crockett. I don't think he would have like gone over in that degree compared to like some of the talents that they had, especially with all the trading and mismatches that they had with like between WWF and WCW or Jim Crockett at the time, bro.
I want to take y'all to a different level of thinking right quick.
All right, but
Since y'all
let me answer
since
your question. Let me answer your question though. You said, what do you consider a good match and a good show?
yes.
All right, so I'm a kind of answer this question. I always go down to the crowd. How's the crowd reacting? Because
Mm-hmm.
I can watch something and I might not personally like it, but if the crowd
So every Will Ospreay
it
match you ever watched, bro, you hate it, but all the crowds love it.
no
I
I
knew he
never
was supposed to
no
speak
no
up.
no 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 I never said I hated every I like Will Ospreay's matches when he's in the ring with someone like an MJF or Brian Danielson, somebody where they can like rein him in and not do
Incredible
all
Hulk.
that
Yeah.
flippy shit all the time. Now, when he's in the ring with someone like Swerve and Ray Phoenix and
Bro,
Ricochet
I
and
was
people,
live for the Swerve match, and
I
that
say,
was top
if it was
10
a
best
Ricochet
matches I
match,
ever
I'm
saw.
not cheering.
Can I give y'all
I was
some
live for that one.
introspective real quick?
mm, yeah,
Let me just give you some introspective real quick. And this is just me as a longtime fan, and when I really fell into my groove of a fan. I
okay,
don't give a fuck if Jeff Hardy or Matt Hardy faced Crash Holly or fucking The Undertaker. I was invested into what they did every single week that they performed. And they
okay,
didn't have to have a 5-star match. I didn't have to rate their match. I didn't have to care if it was, I didn't care if they botched or whatnot. I was invested into their match. And I think that's where wrestling fans got things
yes.
twisted. One,
You
I
invested
believe that
into the character.
there was invested into the character, exactly what it is. They are invested into the character. Suspension of disbelief is what they call it. You know what I'm saying? Tommy Dreamer is probably one of the greatest wrestlers of all time to a certain percentage of people. But if
Yes,
you sit down and
Very low.
analyze and look at his matches, it was fucking trash. You understand what I'm saying? But how
yeah.
did these people feel like he's one of their favorites?
I've
Because
never once heard Tommy Dreamer is the greatest wrestler of all time ever.
But
it's
the
a
fact,
percentage. It's a percentage of people. It's a
it's a lot
percentage of
of
people.
Bro,
Tommy.
introduce me to one
I
because I've
can
never
watch.
heard
I
of
can
one,
No,
watch.
bro.
I
people
can watch.
love
I can
ECW
watch.
fans
Listen, I'm
love
not
Bro,
Tommy
against.
even
Dreamer,
bro,
bro.
I'm into deathmatch shit, and I've never once heard a deathmatch wrestler say Tommy Dreamer is the best wrestler ever, bro.
Well, no, wait a
Ever.
minute. Wait, whoa, whoa. You got to know that I over accentuated that a little bit, but I'm more invested into watching towards Tommy Dreamer, progression, storylines, or whatever, than I am to Will Ospreay. I'm more invested into seeing what Tommy Dreamer is doing week after week than I am to Will Ospreay, and
Have you
that's
heard
why
Will
I'm
Ospreay
that's why I'm
promo,
kind of mixing
bro?
things up.
Will Ospreay's promo is better than like 70% of like the world,
But what
even
is his
if
story?
it's
But
flawed.
my question is, what is his story? His promo could be great. I could sit up here and talk shit all goddamn day and you'll be invested into it. But what story am I really telling that's going to
Telling,
keep
yes,
me? Go ahead.
yes, yeah. I agree
So
with what you
my
saying.
thing is, for the fact that I'm 36 years old, right? And I've probably been following Tommy Dreamer since I was 8 or 9. For the fact that I can name more things today, for the more things in Tommy Dreamer career than I can even care to remember about a Will Ospreay over the last 12 months, should show you.
But it depends on how much you're willing to invest in it, bro. Like, so
Well,
I'm the
that's what
opposite.
that's.
I've been literally watching Will Ospreay since I first started watching New Japan. He was
Mm-hmm.
the literal first match that I ever saw in New Japan. I literally bought New Japan World on a whim because my friends talked about New Japan, New Japan, New Japan, New Japan, New Japan. All right, bet. So in 2017, bro, I bought New Japan World. I saw my very first New Japan match ever was him versus Kushida in the Best of Super Junior Finals, and I was like, this is eons eons better than anything I'd ever see in WWE, bro. Outside of like John Cena and AJ Styles that happened like maybe 2 or 3 years later. But guess what? AJ came from the Indies, AJ came from TNA, AJ came from New Japan. And
Mm-hmm.
that's what shaped a lot of my views of like, okay, if you made it in New Japan, you're gonna make it in wrestling because New Japan is like premier, absolute, the top of the top, bro. Above WWE, above AEW before AEW started buying all the fucking New Japan talent that was worth the shit out. Like that's what it was, bro. So I mean,
Well,
it
no,
varies
no,
from that
that's
piece.
that's why I ask you that's why I ask people, what do you look for within a show? So overall, as a show, do you believe that New Japan is the best ultimate pro wrestling program on out there right now?
Since TK came in, no. Before TK came in, yes.
So TK destroyed New Japan to you.
He has put a hand in putting New Japan in a lesser position than what they were prior to his existence. 100%
So
Yeah.
yes.
okay, so how familiar is everybody as far as just indie wrestling? Do you go to your indie shows
I go to
periodically in your
GCW.
state?
I have a local indie here in Orlando, Florida that I go to every so often. Yes, sir.
Okay,
From my
so
perspective.
do you view Tony? Do you believe that AEW is meant to be presented once a month, every couple of months? As far as like, do you think that how can they keep people interested week after week after week? And I'm gonna move on to the WWE in a minute. But how do you believe that they can keep people invested week after week instead of just looking forward to a month of oh, we get to see Brian
AEW
Danielson versus Will Ospreay,
You have to build a
to
story.
me,
like dream matches?
AEW is the premier indie company that happens to have premier television, and
Hmm.
it is a negative connotation to what I just said, but there's still value in the industry for that, and so that's why I accept it as it is.
For it to be
But we're in.
presented the way that it is.
What do you mean?
Well, they're on TV weekly, and they have at least what 8 hours, 6 to 8 hours a week of
No one
programming
cares
a
about
week.
any of those other hours no more, bro, except for like the three that happen on Wednesday. That's really unfortunate. It is unfortunate, but that is reality. When it boils down to it, people only care about what happens on Wednesday because that is what's tantamount to that audience when it's all said and done. Like the audience, they
Yeah.
have their own audiences, but realistically speaking, like
Well,
from like I'm not a casual by any stretch of the imagination, but I do not watch Rampage. I stopped watching Collision after Punk left. And so for me, like everything that happens on Wednesday is what's tantamount to the product because everything else is inconsequential. If anything of significance happens, it's always brought up either A, like in the show itself, or B, within the context of the Wednesday show that they're broadcasting from that
Now
perspective.
let's move to the real world real quick. And I got you 100% what you said. Let's move to the real world real quick. How much of a factor do you believe that WWE have so much of a monopoly or a stranglehold over the business? Meaning this, when I go to work and I talk to my coworkers, they may have seen Bad Blood because they may notice that Roman Reigns is a little more mainstream or some shit like that.
I could perfectly answer this question. I got a buddy that I tease. I said, "Hey, did you watch AEW last night?" And he said he always laughs. He said, "You know, I didn't watch that shit."
Is he
And
aware of it?
I will
Is
tell
he
you
at
what
least
though.
aware of it?
no, he knows what AEW is, but I said, "Man, why you don't ever get AEW a chance, man?" He said, "Well, I'm gonna waste my time watching a show with wrestlers I don't even know."
Hmm.
That's again, that's subjective. Like those are people that have no desire to delve into the business to that degree. If you're a real wrestling fan, even if you don't like the alternatives, you're still going to fuck around and find out.
Who
You're
said
still going
that?
to be
Who said
curious.
that?
Yeah,
Ethan. Okay, I'm glad that you said that, right? Real wrestling fan. And when you say real wrestling fan, you act like as people supposed to really know into this shit. When I became a wrestling fan, I got deep. Somehow I got deeply rooted into it. So I cared about what happened in the '80s before I cared to watch. I cared about what happened.
same. That's why I still listen to Cornette. Yes, sir.
Right. So these newer fans don't have time for that shit. Now we talking about society as a whole. It's so much shit pumping out at you. It's so many great shows that's pumping at you that it seems like it's no different between what you see in wrestling and what you see on your series on Netflix or something like Power or something. You know what I'm saying?
Power. This motherfucker said power. Like anybody
Hey,
watches that shit. All 568 motherfuckers that watch Power. Okay.
it depends on where you at. It depends on where you at. I know people that watch Power, but my thing, but
Pray for them.
hope that you should understand the question. I hope that you should understand the point. My thing is this: people are automatically, when they think of wrestling, they automatically think of WWE. And when they think of
Sure.
WWE, WWE is prepared and ready to bring out stars. They ready to bring out better
Hmm.
presentation. No matter if their
Hmm.
matches is bad or not, their stories is interesting enough for you to follow through month after month after month.
Not all of them, but a lot of them. Sure, I understand your point. Go ahead.
To the average, you got to think average fan wise. You got to think casual, because casual is was what produces the most money. So my
Yeah,
point is this:
I get
what
that.
can AEW do to separate itself as a professional wrestling or sports entertainment, however they want to be classified? What can they do to separate themselves? They may obviously have to create their own audience, because piggybacking off the WWE audience has not worked for them. They're
But
not even
WWE, to
receiving.
me, I understand your point, bro. But like to me, WWE is all encapsulating. It is like if you think of the heavens, they are the heavens, right? For
Right.
everything else,
It's
what
like
out
white
what
supremacy.
so like that's
Go
fair.
ahead.
Nah, like, I mean, bro, to me, AEW does that already with it. The problem is that what they do to like, it does not like translate. They do enough to be the alternative. However, the alternative is not enough to draw in the casual viewers because the alternative is a lot more grotesque, a lot more violent, a lot more obscene from that perspective, and that's
Right.
the issue that it is at the end of the day. And
And
like
so,
realistically
But
okay,
speaking,
it's
like to
funny.
be the
I'm
alternative,
glad that you said that. I'm glad that you said that, because a majority of wrestling fans could sit up here and tell you today that ECW is better than WCW and WWF. At the same time, the majority of fans never knew that ECW actually even existed.
and they wasn't gonna let their kids watch that shit.
And
I mean, bro,
as an adult with children, I can understand how they get that. At the same time, when I was a child, I was craving to see that shit.
I
Yeah.
mean, bro, like at the end of the day, it's like it's everything has its place, bro. Like you know what I mean? Like for all the like, I enjoy like as an adult man, I enjoy seeing the
Yes.
grotesque stuff that happened. Like for example, in like All Out, like all the
Hmm.
stuff that happened with Swerve and Hangman. Like I thoroughly, absolutely a billion percent enjoyed it and feel it has its place in WWE in the universe, I should say, in the wrestling universe. But
Yes.
in terms of a casual audience, it does not translate. But AEW's perspective, which has been their perspective the whole time, is just like that's fine and dandy because we're still making money. We still have the core audience. We still have our constant 550
But
to 750,000,
let,
and it's still drawing us money.
all right,
And
let
it
me. I don't mean
earns
to
its
cut
place
you
as a
off.
result.
I don't mean to cut you off, but I'm
You
glad you
good?
brought up money. Glad you brought up money.
Money is the key. Go ahead.
AEW used to have a casual audience though,
Hmm.
and
Barely,
no,
They
barely.
they
I
had
had
even
it
I
no,
though.
would say
no,
They
that
no,
had
no,
it.
barely.
They
no,
had
no,
it
no. They were getting a million. They were getting a million viewers on Dynamite
weekly.
I
weekly.
don't think I don't think that was casual. I think that was WWE
No, no,
fans
no, no. He said
trying
they
to come
had
up
that.
with
No,
it,
no,
trying to
no.
find it.
He said they had their core base. They had their fans.
So we've established the core base, 550 to 750 on
You,
average, right? That is a core base. The other 300, the 450,000 that encapsulates the million that they had gotten at the beginning.
that's
I
casual.
genuinely feel that I do not feel it was casual. I feel it was like
You
morbid
don't lose that many
curiosity from
fans if
WWE
it if it ain't.
I believe you said it right. I believe it was curiosity. Now,
morbid curiosity.
it was curiosity, and AEW couldn't follow through, right?
Sure.
So at this point, what do they do to redeem not just regain an audience, but to move further than the audience that they have? Do my ultimate question is: do professional wrestling sell to the masses in modern day times?
WWE does. AEW, as
I,
much as I hate it, AEW will never sell to the masses. And
WCW came in with competition. WCW came in with competition, and they made WWF supersede further than they have in their entire existence. It was
but
competition that made them do that.
yeah.
I feel
And
like it's I feel like it's like a it's it's the repeat of what it is, right? WWF was floundering when WCW flourished, and so from that piece, at the time that AEW became prominent, WWE was floundering. A lot of the core fan base was sick of it, and now that we have a new leader in WWE that will supersede those
Hmm.
things, listen to the fans a lot more, and things of that nature, they've done the exact same thing where WWE has followed
Triple
through
H.
within their boundaries. They've done enough to be able to translate over to like said casual audience that AEW does not. However, I think it's been said in the past, and it's so true. As long as TK like wants to throw money in, they will not die. Unlike WCW,
Hmm.
so and
Oh,
that's really what it boils down to. There will consistently, always, forever and ever be number two, and it will always appeal to the absolute core and the absolute like hardcore of the hardcore of wrestling fans. But nonetheless, they will still exist because of the fact that
Well,
they
how
will
long do
still
you
like
think?
the standards
With
of
that being
WWE.
said, how long do you believe that they will exist on that? With that,
well,
with what you just said.
can I interject with something real quick before you answer that? So the one thing that I was trying to say was that AEW they just signed a new deal. It was like 170, 180, right?
185, yes sir.
All right. How much is that media rights deal if AEW still was getting that million per view? How much more is that media rights deal if they were still getting those million viewers every week?
300, 300 probably.
That that's what I'm saying. Like everybody keeps talking about, oh, you shouldn't talk about the ratings. They don't matter. They just got a new deal. But
Well,
y'all don't.
we
But
got to
people don't
look
Right.
at it
understand.
like this too. We got to
People
look
don't.
at it like this too, and we still don't know exactly where media and cable television is going to be 2, 3, 4, 5 years from now because it's in the transition mode. Who's to say that WBD is going to be in business by the time this deal ends?
That's why it's even more
What if they
important that
say
they
fuck
should
it?
have got more
Because
money.
if y'all going for AEW and you could tell like they haven't gone hard, well, what other do they have other original content that they're producing? You know what I'm saying? It may be that. My thing is AEW was holding on to a dying company. Okay, and if cable television is falling right now at a very rapid rate, it's going to be worse within 5 years. Where would AEW stand? You got WWE moving on to Netflix and Peacock and all this other different shit. They don't give a fuck about ratings. That's why I don't care about the ratings conversation.
But I
Somebody
feel
mentioned
like
money. I look at the money.
Yeah.
but at the end of the day, I feel like because they have such an advantage, that's really what it boils down to. Like,
It's a
no
big
matter what,
advantage.
because they have the establishment, they will never be in jeopardy. There will never be any qualms. WWE is the absolute machine, the monopoly that will forever exist. No matter how bad the product, God forbid, the product ever gets, they will exist because they were first, and they've established enough of a baseline to be able to persevere through that,
So
and that's really what it boils
But
down
the
can
thing
I
is,
ask everybody
but
this? Can I ask
but they
everybody
wasn't
this?
always first though.
Can I ask everybody this?
Yeah.
20 years from now, just think.
Sure.
Your kids might be in college, whatever. 20 years from now, do you think that you would give a fuck about any match that the Young Bucks had previous to today?
I don't think they will.
How
No.
about
I mean,
Okada?
I've seen enough New Japan because I enjoy their New Japan stuff more than I have their AEW stuff, but that's
So
me.
I'm gonna tell you this. How about even? And I know it's a lot of Will Ospreay fans, and I'm not just talking about in AEW, but do you all think as wrestling evolve over the next 20 years that you would think or give a fuck about any match that Will Ospreay had before today?
I think yes, because if you ask the old time motherfuckers about like Ric Flair and stuff, they will remember Flair and Steamboat, Flair and Sting, Flair and
Yes.
Yeah.
Garvin, Flair and. So if you were a fan of Will Ospreay at that time, yeah, I think something will translate to that piece where you will remember that. Whether
So
it will be
you
prominent,
personally will put him in that category of a man that can stand the test of time.
I don't know whether I would say the test of
Because
time, but for the
I could tell you what I mean by stand the test of time. is I could tell you a match that Jeff Hardy had on Raw 2000 against Test.
And I can't. But there's a difference.
You
Jeff
probably
Hardy is
didn't
one of
watch
your
from there,
absolute
but I'm
favorites.
not. You probably didn't
So
watch from there. But the fact is, do you believe that a person who is a Will Ospreay fan who may have watched the match with him and Bryan Danielson will think of that match 20 or 30 years from now?
perhaps,
Thank you.
perhaps I would say it's like
Noted.
65 or 55, 45. I would say 55, 45 yes.
I just wanted to see that. And I believe that the WWE is moving on to something. I got a vision today. I believe that the WWE is going to move on to something to where people are not going to have shelf lives like John Cena, Hulk Hogan, The Miz. People who've been in the industry for 20, 30, 40 years, I think we're going to see a big decline in that. Um, a major decline in that. Me being saying that right now, who do you think are the wrestlers besides beyond Roman Reigns today, or beyond Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes? Who are the new generation that's going to be remembered as? I would still view Stone Cold Steve Austin as the best wrestler in the world 30 years from now.
John Cena.
Today,
Uh,
no, I said beyond John Cena.
he talking about the new
I'm
generation
talking
guys,
about. I'm talking about
guys in
over
their
the last
20s.
decade. Beyond. I'm talking about beyond Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes. So
That's to be
starting today,
determined how. That's
look
to
at
be
all
determined.
rosters. Look at all rosters, and starting today, below Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns and Kenny Omega and Okada and
So you talking about guys
MJF.
so the young generation that's like in their 20s who could be the next legends, right?
You can look at NXT. You can look at the lower card in Ring of Honor or whatever.
All
Who
right,
do you believe got potential to have a
MJF, and
I,
outside of that, to be determined.
MJF is still young, so you're right. Yeah, I will put
I think
MJF
MJF
there.
MJ.
and to be determined.
I would say
That's
this.
I could
crazy.
say Braun Breaker.
I,
Brian
I
Breaker.
Braun Breaker.
Okay.
I'm gonna tell you right
Yeah.
now. I'm gonna
I
tell you
want to
right.
say Oba. I want to say
Uh,
Oba Femi,
th-
but it's to be determined how Triple H books him.
Wait a
that's what I
minute.
was.
Who said
Yeah.
That's
that? Who
that's what
said
I was
that?
going.
Who said that? Who
Hey,
said it?
hey, no. He
Who
beat
said
me.
it?
He beat me. He beat me before I said it. But
Both of y'all can say it at the same time.
no. I'm gonna throw another name out there since we gonna go along that lines. Trick
Thank
Williams.
we. Thank you.
Rick Williams. Yes, yes. But
Oh,
but
sir.
it just
How about Carmelo? How about Carmelo Hayes?
Yeah.
I don't.
How about Angelo Dawkins?
Not
I don't know about dog.
Montez
I
Ford.
love dog, but no.
I meant to say
Montez
Montez
Ford, maybe.
Ford, but
Montez Ford,
Montez
maybe.
Ford.
Montez
Yes.
Ford, yeah.
and
Maybe
you know
Montez
what?
too.
I do
Yeah.
want to move it along that lines because I'm afraid. I'm gonna tell
About
you now. I want
about
to
how he
move it
gonna
along
book the
that
brothers.
lines. I'm afraid. I'm afraid because one of my theories, my main thing is wrestling with racism. That's my thing, and I'm afraid because historically, can we have 5 or 6 or 10 Black American wrestlers successful at one time?
Not in fucking, as long as this fucking world
We
exists,
never
Nah, not
man.
in
had
this
it, so
world.
she gonna
It
say
ain't
in
gonna
Excuse me.
modern
happen.
day era.
Yeah, for real.
So with
One
that being
day,
said,
maybe not in your lifetime or my lifetime.
with that being said, you look at the fact that Carmelo Hayes is doing great right now. Eventually, Trick Williams is gonna have to come out of NXT. Eventually, Oba Femi is gonna have to come out of NXT. Eventually, Lash Legend is gonna have to come out of NXT.
Jada Parker.
Eventually, Wesley is gonna have
Hmm.
to come out of NXT.
Yeah.
Eventually, Jada Parker is gonna have to come out of NXT. What do y'all believe? And I'm talking to the Black Americans. What do y'all believe? How do you believe that one, the fans are going to take it? Because you can't deny that Obafemi is greater than Gunther, can or at least have the potential to be greater than Gunther. Okay, you
Okay.
can't say that Trick Williams don't. You can't say that Trick Williams. We talking about potential now. We talking about
Gunther, bro,
potential.
but Gunther's different. Gunther faced a lot of. He faced a lot of the guys that aren't in WWE.
Yeah,
Gunther
but
faced a
like,
lot, and
yeah, but
Gunther.
I'm gonna call it like
but
I'm
gun,
When I
gonna call it
talk
like it
about
is.
suspend your when I'm
but
talking when I speak of suspending your disbelief, when it come down to facing where you feel like your life is on the line and you got an easier path, which one are you gonna look at and say, hey, I think I got a better shot at beating this person, Gunther or Uber Femi? Obafemi.
Where are you talking? That you can't pull that into wrestling because of the fact that, like, depending on when that match
Hmm.
happens, if that happens 1 year from
Eh,
now, I'm picking Gunther. If that match happens 4 years from now,
Who's
I'm
talking?
picking
Who
Cobra.
said that? Ether? Who said that? Ether?
Yes, sir.
Oh, Ethan. Ethan. Guess what? You just helped prove my point. It's based off of booking. I believe that Montez Ford don't have no difference than Cody Rhodes. Montez Ford could do exactly what Cody Rhodes could
I
do.
wouldn't
It's
disagree.
based
I would
off
not
of who
disagree.
Can
booked
I?
these
Can,
people. Thank you, Ethan. It's based off of who booked these people. And they're not putting the effort behind these people to make them be presented as
can I?
But
superheroes.
you know
Can
what?
I?
How
Can
I
I
many
feel
jump
like
in
black
on this?
if
Americans
you
have
would
we
have put,
had? How many black Americans have we
go ahead,
had
go ahead,
that's been
go
booked as
ahead, go
John
ahead,
Cena, Stone Cold Steve
go ahead.
Austin, Hulk Hogan, Bruno Sammartino, Bob Backlund? Nobody.
Yeah, but I mean, when you think of Montez Ford, they don't. He doesn't. Unfortunately, I love Montez, but he does not equate
Wrestling,
any of those people you
All
picked.
right.
wrestling
Let me try in on this real quick.
wrestling is a fake scripted sport, and nobody can deny that Black Americans is the most athletic, the most entertaining, the most charismatic people in the world. We talking about a 13%, because I'm not talking about Caribbeans, I'm not talking about Africans, I'm talking about
You're
Black
right.
Americans.
You're absolutely right.
We in entertainment, we have a stranglehold over everything. So why is it that we aren't presented as such in a fake scripted sport as
Okay. Let me go with
professional
this.
wrestling?
When I again, it goes by booking. Triple H's booking. If we go back down the line when Vince was in
Hmm.
charge, Rakage would attest to this. Bianca Belair, she was on top. Correct?
You talking about
I'm
one?
just
You
I'm
just
just
name
saying.
one.
I'm
yeah.
just saying that's what it was. But
You talking about throughout history now? Vince McMahon has a 60-year
Yeah.
stranglehold. Go
I
ahead.
know. I'm just saying, like, he had the rock on top. Even Booker T got his time, but he wasn't perfect at it.
Hmm. Wait. What time did Booker T technically have? Because if you want to be technical, Booker T will sit up here and tell you that he's a five-time
That is correct.
WCW champion. I guarantee you, with the exception of the time that WCW went out of business and shit, Booker T held that title less than
True,
two
true.
months.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that five-time shit don't mean nothing to me. There's no
I'm not
substance
accounting.
behind
I'm not
anything.
account.
So let's get to the let's let we gonna when I do this, I get to
Oh,
the
you get it.
specifics
You're
about
right.
it. And Ethan, if that's you talk or a white, if it's a white talking, I guarantee you, I
I'm
believe
a
that you
brother, man.
shouldn't talk. I believe I'm
I'm a
talking to
Black
the Black
American brother.
Americans and Jay. Okay, cool, count. All right, you
Okay.
can continue then.
So like, the way I'm going off of, on this is that like it is like the way NXT is run. I would trust my booking if
Hmm.
HBK was on the main roster. I would trust his booking more than I would trust Triple H's booking when it comes to booking Black Americans. Like it just is what it is. It's just that's the way it looks.
Well, I'm glad that you said that. I'm glad that you said that. And just to take it out the racial aspect for a second, just take it out the racial aspect for a second. I'm glad that you said that about HBK because I don't think that HBK is necessarily looking at color. I think that he's recognizing the natural talent that
Fair.
he has. HBK has more of a wrestling mind. And in essence, black Americans are more charismatic and athletic than most, and that's why they're being featured better. And I believe that Triple H should go down to eight. And I'm not talking about from a racial aspect. I'm just talking about completely because I believe that Triple H booking is just skating by. You know
Fair.
what I'm saying? In essence, this bloodline shit should have been done with and over with. And what would you do with the blood? What would you do with the WWE if the bloodline stopped what they was doing? What would the state of the WWE be then? Triple H, I don't believe have any true creativity. And I believe that if HBK, Shawn Michaels, do have the creativity in NXT, NXT is the best wrestling program on television right now. Minute to minute.
Yeah. I can. Yeah. It's the most creative for sure, and it's the most like
So I do believe that HBK is more of a wrestling mind and he should be
the head booker.
creatively writing the main roster. And I do believe that it wouldn't just be a fair. I don't think that it'll be a color thing. I think it'll be a fair thing. Black Americans are more entertaining. I do need Trick Williams on SmackDown. I do need Wesley on Raw. You know what I'm saying? I do need Oba Femi on Raw. I do need Oba Femi as my world champion.
Yeah.
A couple of weeks ago, Obafemi said what they call in this generation an anti-sexist thing. Women should stay in their place. Hey, that's Nigeria culture. We can't dispute that. But hey, people got offended by that. That shit will work more than whatever anything Gunther could say as a world champion.
Yeah, you're right. I like.
If I'm moving too fast, please tell me.
Yeah,
I
but I
hope
mean,
that everybody
I
understand
will
where I'm
say
coming from.
something.
but I ain't gonna lie. I like Gunther. I think Gunther's a good talent. But
Oh, Gunther's the
I
shit
just came
until
in
I
right now.
seen
What are we talking about?
Obafemi. Until I seen Obafemi, I'm like, Gunther ain't really shit.
I I
Nigga,
I can't
Gunther,
say that.
look at Obafemi. I'm talking about suspension of
But
disbelief. He is more muscular than anybody on the
But
roster
I
right
will
now.
say
True or
he had
false?
mentioned what's it called? So HBK Ford had said like previously like we talking about what's it called? We talking about
400. HBK 400.
400. So 400 was talking about how like what's it called? How whatever Obafemi says or whatever it matters more than Gunther says. However, like if we go back to the Vince doc, unfortunately in this America, we talking about xenophobia. Xenophobia still in wrestling specifically still matters because of the fact that Gunther is widely regarded as one of the absolute best that's on the WWE roster. However, he gets booed because of the xenophobic comments from both him as well as the fans as well. So then how does that translate over
Is
into
he
that?
really getting booed? Because at the end of the night, he getting cheered.
Yeah. I don't know if I could agree with you, HBK 400. I think Gunther's a good talent, man.
Nobody legitimately hates. Okay, let me tell you what I mean by that. People legitimately hate Vicky Guerrero. No matter how you could try to mix it up or whatever, that people
And
hate that
and,
bitch.
and Dom Mysterio.
And that, yeah, yep. To be modern, you're right. People legitimately hate Dom Mysterio, Dominic Mysterio. He's great at his fucking job, and he's not even doing shit in the fucking ring.
Nope.
The man is just portraying Eddie Guerrero through and through. All I see is Eddie Guerrero character,
Yeah.
but it's a difference because Eddie Guerrero made me believe inside that ring.
Yeah.
Dominic
Eddie Guerrero is
Mysterio
a
don't.
top five wrestler. Come
That's why I say wrestling is in trouble. Nobody could truly suspend your nobody could truly suspend your disbelief inside that ring.
Yeah.
I mean,
So you
nothing suspends my
You know,
disbelief, but that's just me personally.
but and that's why I say when it comes down to it, basically when it comes down to professional wrestling, I believe that everybody have the same booking. I'm sorry, everybody have the same ability. It's just based off of how you're being booked. And when you look at the WWE creative staff, and I'm not just talking about creative writing, I'm talking about producers as well. They don't have Black American writers. So when you do things with Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill and try to think that it's coming off appealing and shit to me, no, it's not. I can't really feel that shit because it's not being produced by the right hands. All these wrestlers could do is just go out and do what they're told to do. And it seems like they're purposely not making Obafemi seem better than Gunther. It seems like they're purposely not making Carmelo Hayes seem better than Braun Breaker. Because at the end of the day, Braun Breaker's supposed to do three moves and call it a fucking day. And Carmelo Hayes supposed to be your Shawn Michaels. But who do you predict having a better career at the end?
yeah.
Which one?
Hmm.
Hold on. Between Obafemi and Braun Breaker?
Braun Breaker and well, you could go that route. Yeah, Braun Breaker and Obafemi.
Sorry, I'm watching UFC in between this, fellas. I missed
I
that
I
piece.
personally think Obafemi is a better talent than Brian Breaker, but I think
But who are they going to
I know
present?
they're going to present Brian probably bigger because yeah.
I just wish they would call him
That's a
Rex Steiner,
problem.
bro.
And
Please call him Rex
leading into
Steiner.
2025, that's a problem to me.
You said
I
what?
mean,
So that's where I'm at with it, and that's why I can't enjoy it because it's like my suspension of disbelief not there. Like I said, you can't have Bianca Belair, Jade Cargill, Naomi, Lash Legend, Jada Parker all be successful at the same time.
Yeah, they
sure
go.
you can. I'm not in today's. I mean, realistically, in terms of like the entire scope
And
of
it's
reality, not really.
2025. Since you just said not today, it's 2025. That is a fucking problem to me. You have more, while everybody sit up here and talk about they not racist because they use Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill and Naomi, you have more Japanese women active on the WWE roster than any black American. And on top of that, you don't see black people wrestling in Japan. You don't see them mixing in Mexico. So it's no even exchange. So why should I be satisfied, right?
Yeah, you do got a point there.
I just I'm
But
dead
I mean,
serious.
bro, like
We heading
I don't want
into
to
a
be that guy,
fucked
bro.
up
Bro, I don't
situation.
want to be that guy. As a Puerto Rican American, I don't want to be that guy. But I'm saying, like, that becomes where, like, where does like the black minority in terms of the overall fan base, where does that come into play? Where they like listen to y'all, to us, I guess. You know
Uh,
what I'm saying? I'm dark
Well,
too,
they not.
so
They gonna
like,
keep. They not.
well, hey,
They
hey,
gonna
hey,
keep. They not. They're one. There's no one. There's no us. You said you was Puerto Rican, and you have Puerto Ricans have promotions. Colin Cologne, Carlito, and all them have
hey,
promotions,
bro,
and
if we get
Black
arrested by the
Americans are
police, you
not.
gonna get shot, and I'm gonna get shot too.
Yeah, whatever. You gonna get justice, and I'm not. So what I'm saying is Puerto Ricans got promotions and black Americans are not primarily wrestling in those promotions either. But if you want to lump us together, my main thing is the reason that people are not listening is because they are going to keep dismissing it for the fact that they say, oh, Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins had the tag team match last night, and I should be satisfied and content with that. People tell me that Kofi Kingston held the WWE Championship 4 years ago, 5 years ago, and I should be satisfied and content with that.
Not with the way Brock fucking beat him, no
5 years
sir.
later,
Not with the way Brock beat him, no sir.
Mind you, Kofi never won the WWE Championship again. Not only did he not win the WWE Championship again, they never made him a serious contender, so it wasn't genuine. You know what I'm
I mean,
saying?
Brock, they booked Brock to
What
fucking
I
kill
want to
him, but
do,
that's it.
what I want to do is break out of that. Americans, when it come down to America, black America, it's a big misconception. When you think of America, you think of white. Black Americans actually built America. Puerto Ricans didn't. Black Americans built America brick by brick, and we fought, bled, and died to maintain this motherfucker, and we get the least out of everything. And you would think that in a fake scripted sport, when we got so much of a 13% of people got so much of a stranglehold over sports and entertainment that we should at least be representing America more prominently in the major American organization like the WWE.
I mean, but I,
It's white
I'm
supremacy.
not,
You got to
I'm
think
not
about
saying
it.
you're wrong. I'm
All the
just
black
saying,
Americans, all the black Americans that's in this space right now, all the schools that y'all went to, how many of them had rugby or lacrosse, hockey? We talking about really physical sports. And these are sports that's dominated by white folk. But if they actually had to put it into our schools, and we actually had to averted our attention away from basketball or football, whatever they relegate us to, we will be whooping their ass. And that's what they are afraid of, and that's why they keep it away from us. And that's the same thing with professional wrestling.
you are right because you got. Let me give you an example. You got a woman like Bianca Belair that literally has no wrestling experience and just come in right out the gate and just better than all these other women. Better than
She is as natural as Kurt Angle. She is as natural as Brock Lesnar.
yeah,
She is as natural as any person that came in and got quick success. It's a natural thing.
yeah.
And my thing is this. My thing is this to break it even further. How many of y'all have children?
I don't got any kids. You got
my
how many
pullout
kids?
game strong, bro.
Damn, none of y'all. Listen, let me tell y'all something. Pussy is out here. Get y'all one before y'all die. Keep this keep y'all bloodline going. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. My point is this when it comes down to children. White supremacy is an image thing. You know what I'm saying? When you look at you look, I mean, and I'm serious. You look at angel food, they say it's white. You look at devil's cake, they say it's black. Look. As a matter of fact, I'm not even gonna go there. Look at the definition of white and look at the definition of black, and then you can make your own determination from there. It's an image thing. Okay. So let's take my children. I got three. I got two boys and I got one girl. Okay. One of my boys watch wrestling and my girl watch wrestling. My daughter watch wrestling. My daughter is happy to see the success of Bianca Belair, Jade Cargill, and
Naomi.
Naomi. It's no different than when I was a child and I was happy that my highlight of the show beyond Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock was The Godfather, D'Lo Brown, and Farouk, or fucking any black person that they could bring out. You get what I'm saying? Today, there's nothing for my son to be like, oh shit, I'm seeing Montez Ford in the same position that I seen him in 3 years ago.
Don't see Bobby
They
Lashley.
don't look at him as they look at John Cena. They don't look at no black American as they see as John Cena or Roman Reigns or Stone Cold Steve Austin or Hulk Hogan. And my thing is this, we looking at Cody Rhodes right now. Who's to say that Cody Rhodes 30, 40 years from now is not a racist like Hulk Hogan? We done supported Hulk Hogan. We done bought his t-shirts. We done bought tickets, which produced him the greatest money that he could receive. We love him and we respect him. But to find out when you got children or grandchildren that he look at you as a nigger, and you are a nigger to him, and you're going to keep giving him your money. I don't want my children to keep looking at these potential white supremacists to find out that they are white supremacists. You understand what I'm saying? This is what we're facing. And I'm not saying that all white folk are racist or know that this other different shit, but we still aren't taking a chance. At the end of the day, Hulk Hogan couldn't come out in the 80s and call you a nigger. He couldn't do that. Hulk Hogan couldn't come out and call you a nigger and think that he was going to have the success that he had over the last 40 years and get away with the shit. How many undercover racists do we have in this world?
Well, you got a ton of them.
How many people are going to smile in your face and say, oh, Black Lives Matter? Fuck! But every death behind your back, they're going to go online and say the nigger deserved it. He should have complied. You know what I'm saying? These are the chances that we take. And these are the chances that we shouldn't have to take when it should be equality in an American organization. And there are Black American wrestlers around the country that are on these indices that are pretty fucking good. And that could be developed into something greater if you gave them the opportunity, but they don't even let them come through the door. You have these chosen Negroes, excuse me, chosen ones. So I'm tired of people saying that Bianca Belair held the title for a year. I shouldn't feel no type of way about this. I'm tired of people saying that Bobby Lashley, this is why I delineate, and I'm not trying to be racist, but like I was saying to, I believe it was Ethan, who was the Puerto Rican, you know, you try to compare your struggles to mine, and Bobby Lashley is a Panamanian. He's very dark skinned. He looked like one of us, but at the end of the day, he's not us. But we have to attach his success to us. In essence, we never had it. Barack Obama is Kenyan and white. He's not American. He's not me. He's Kenyan. And African people don't necessarily like Nigerians, like Obafemi and almost in real life, those people don't fuck with us. We're Akatas to them. We are non-factors to them. We are Americanized and they don't like that. But this is our representation. So I have to take their success and attach it to me. Bobby Lashley is Jamaican and Mostentarian. When I walk outside my doors, I'm not in Florida and I'm not in New York. So when I walk outside my doors, I don't see no Mostentarians and I don't see no Jamaicans. But you're telling me that this man represents me because his skin is dark. They use these other dark skinned people like Jade Cargill, who is a Jamaican. They use these other dark skinned people to undermine America, white America, true enemy, which is black Americans. And they give those people crumbs like they gave Kofi Kingston a 4 or 5 month reign, like they gave Swerve Strickland a 4 month reign, like they gave Big E a 3 or 4 month reign, like they gave Bobby Lashley a 4 month reign. They will use those other dark skinned people successes and think that black Americans are supposed to be satisfied. Going back to Barack Obama, we never had a black American president. If Kamala Harris get in, she's Jamaican and Indian. We never had a black American president. I want something for us, finally. And in a sport that I love so dearly that I have been watching for, let's say 25, 26, 27 years, I want to see something for us genuinely. That's all I'm asking. Am I wrong as a black man for asking for that?
No, no, not at all. They got a video talking about Triple H. I can't hear it though because I'm on here talking about he addressing the criticisms around the black representation in WWE.
I'm gonna check all that out later. I'm pretty sure that they was gonna address that and he gonna give us some bullshit. But on some real shit, if y'all not familiar with who I am, check out my YouTube channel, Rasslin with Racism. I don't just touch on things that happen in professional wrestling, but majority of the content is wrestling with racism. Check it out. Subscribe if it hits you to the core, and tag in and let anybody know that is not, wrestling fans, whether they, I'm sorry, black Americans, whether they are wrestling fans or not. Let them know because it's a problem. And what I'm facing is the fact that all of us recognize that the WWE is in 2025 is not going to have 5 to 10 black American wrestlers successful at one time. Okay, so these people that are successful, what's going to happen with them over the next 2, 3 years? You know what I'm saying?
I could definitely, I could definitely,
I want to eliminate that. I want to eliminate that.
I could definitely agree with that. At least you want them to have at least a fair opportunity, and because you could.
Look at how many, and this is why I make Asians and Hispanics non-factors, because I made it a point to say that when you look at Japanese wrestling, and somebody said that NJPW or whatever was the best wrestling promotion or whatever, when you look at their promotions and you see the certain whites, you may see 5, 6 whites in there or 3, 4 whites or whatever, and Hispanics may come through, Ultimo Dragon may come through or something, but you don't see these black Americans. You may see
Yeah,
one
only one I
in
remember
a
back in the day
decade.
was Bob Sapp.
Bob
I mean,
Sapp, you
nowadays,
know
bro,
what
if
I'm
you're talking
saying?
about black Americans in New Japan, it's literally just
And he
Kevin
ain't
Knight.
never did shit in
It's
America as a
it's
wrestler. You know what I'm
it's
saying?
Kevin Knight. How many of y'all know about Kevin Knight? That's the only one
Oh
nowadays.
wow, I heard the name.
Yeah, I mean he's featured in TNA and he's legit. He's solid for sure, but he's the only like, I mean outside of like maybe Leo Rush when he went through, and then that's really it. Honestly, when it comes to African Americans in New Japan in today's
Well,
thing.
that's my thing. You had people that were successful. Kamala was successful for a long time in Japan.
Abdullah the Butcher. Well,
But
no, he ain't black. He's Sudan.
no, but
Kamala's
my
not
point
black. What
is
is he fucking
my point
white?
is you got these people that sprinkled in here. So the reason why I make them non-factors in America is because we're non-factors in their promotions. You know what I'm saying? It's not me being racist. We non-factors in their promotions, so they should be non-factors to me. So I'll try to break the roster down, black and white, when it comes down to representing America. And don't get me wrong, Samoans are American, but they're not black Americans. You have more active Samoans than black Americans. That's a problem to me in an American promotion. But people want to take Roman Reigns, and because the fact that the Usos is married to black women and Solo Sokoa is married to a black woman, that attach that success to me? No. No. Can I actually get a black American that's successful? And so that's a problem to me when I look at the inequality, and then when you look at the representation for America, most of the representation is white. That's a problem to me. It's not me being racist. It's for my children. It's image. It's image. And I'm tired of this white supremacist image in a fake scripted sport. If every man was going for themselves, if it was UFC and every black man got their ass beat, how can I complain about that? It's a real sport. This is fake. What's the problem? I got more black movies in my repertoire than I do white movies. Five Heartbeats is still one of my favorite movies of all times. It's not a big box office hit, but I'm pretty sure everybody in their heart got a special something to it. You know what I'm saying? And we don't got that in wrestling. When we look at the success in wrestling, we rely on Booker T, and that's it. It's a problem to me in 2024 leading into 2025. So, like I said, the reason that it's continuing like this is because not enough of us are speaking on it and advocating for greater. And I hate to put this out, but I'm going to. I am leading toward having my own black owned and operating promotion. And I'm going to do it differently. So I'm not going to put nothing out. And we got a 5-year plan. That's all I say. Because we're going to put money and time in it to just go for it 100%. But with that being said, if black Americans try to do something for themselves to where I can say that this is going to be in a black owned and operated promotion, what point will white folk come in and say, hey, that's discrimination? And they tend to try to sue or integrate themselves in it forcefully as much as they could. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, that varies where you're located, bro. I mean, like, where you located, bro?
I'm in Detroit, but I'm going to make the plan that I got is to be a traveling group.
I mean, bro, like in Detroit, you're not gonna face much blowback, but as you go across, like maybe like the Midwest, for example, that's what it is, and
Yes,
then
sir.
like that's when you become like that's like for example, that like one indie like super duper indie, like the one that's in like the Congo in Africa, and they have like the one white person like just like talking shit, and like he has like a following
Oh,
because of
that's
that.
Africa. That's different.
But I
That's
mean,
that's
it's still like of similar ilk. If you wanted to go that route, like if you're gonna be like a majority like black like dominated association, it's gonna end up going down that same route where you have like one white man who's gonna be your constant heel, and then you're gonna like feed all your black folks over to him to either beat or lose to like create a like whatever story you try to create from that perspective. So it varies from that piece.
my point in saying all of that is even if I was to put the foot forward to make these things happen for us, specifically for us, it's going to be so much interference. And my thing is this: if those people could interfere and they interfere on a legal level, then we should be able to interfere as a black American people, as a 13% of people, and recognize that whatever little crumbs that the WWE choose to throw at us is not satisfactory, and that they could do better as an American company, and that they should do better as an American company. And hey, if you want to be straightforward, if you choose not to let that happen, then say it and let us go or integrate us properly. Listen, when I talk about equality, I don't just talk about wrestlers. I'm talking about producers, creative, cameramen, executives, people who have actual power within the WWE organization. Integrate them properly. Say this is beyond wrestling. Integrate them in every aspect of the business or let us go.
Mm.
They got 800 in the WWE. Look it up. They got 800 employees. 250 of them may be wrestlers. So the other five, six something, those are legitimate positions that have absolutely nothing to do with wrestling, right?
Yeah.
They all have a hand in building this brand. So, with that being said, how many prominent black Americans do you have in those positions? Are you telling me that no one is qualified? Most of the people that work for the WWE don't give a shit about wrestling.
All right. I will say that, but that's pretty much any company.
Yes.
So it's not just WWE. You're gonna have a lot of pencil pushers and companies, just people, executives, desk jobs, all that though. So that the one thing it is the wrestlers
You
and the
just got to
cre
take it. Wrestling with racism is just a specific field. I do take it on all fronts, and I get what you're saying, but I'm just at least from the wrestling aspect. I'm breaking that down. But yes, is in every field
yeah,
of
yeah.
business.
So so at the end of the day, it's gonna have to be stuff. It got to start with stuff we can actually see first before you could get
Mm-hmm.
to the stuff that you're talking about. So
Gotcha.
so the representation, I do agree. It definitely is important, but I feel a lot of times you get people that don't have genuine intentions with it. They just use it
Mm.
as something to talk about, just to take shots and stuff. So we need
Mm-hmm.
people that actually really have genuine intentions and actually really care, and not just trying to push an agenda on that as well.
Uh,
I, so
100%.
I feel
And that's why I take. But you know what? That's 100%, and that's why I take lately when I view certain things that Triple H has done since I would say August, when there was no black wrestlers at all wrestling on SummerSlam. And this is y'all got to know I've been at this since 2020. It started off as an experiment during COVID. And I started analyzing what b- people were talking about during that time, and I pick people brains. I just started picking shit, and a lot of explosive things have come out. America is parallel, so professional wrestling is very much parallel with professional wrestling. I'm sorry, professional wrestling is parallel with America. And that's why I call it wrestling with racism. And if you check out my stuff, most of the things that I talk about is wrestling, but it's the same thing on day to day when it comes down to racism. You know what I'm saying? And I talk about a lot of other things outside of wrestling with other people. So if y'all follow me, y'all may be able to check it out. Check out some of the people I follow and some of the spaces that I go into. It's some deep shit that we get into, and y'all might be able to contribute. You know what I'm saying? Depending on where you at. But my thing is, I'm bringing it consistent because no one else is bringing it, and I'm keeping it in context as well. Because at the same time of me keeping things in context, we are noticing the problem. We are noticing that black people are declining in the WWE. Generally, people would come to me and say people in NXT was successful, but when you look at those Velveteen Dreams, who was affected, they accused him of something. It come to find out he wasn't charged criminally, and it come to find out that it was false, and he still don't have a job. Wrestling is his field, so you can't just say, "Oh shit, I'm going for wrestling and going to McDonald's and shit." This was what this man wanted to do. He was affected by an allegation. You look at Keith Lee, to where everybody wanted to sit up here and talk about the success that Keith Lee had in NXT, and I'm looking at Keith Lee today. He's nowhere.
But he got health issues
You
though,
know what I'm
so
saying?
he got health issues. That's why.
I never seen no official report. No one is up front when it come down to Black Americans. And even at
He
that,
might not
if
want
that's
people to
the
know that
case,
stuff. So I can't necessarily agree on the Keith Lee front with you on that one though. But
I get that. But tell me what's the difference between Shane Taylor and Samoa Joe?
Shane Taylor, Samoa Joe. I ain't never really been into Shane Taylor, so but but you
If you look at his work, he is I mean, these are the people that they present us. Like I said, there's much more people out there, but I'm just speaking of the people that they got. I agree with what you may say. And in essence though, when you do look at his work, it can